Hi everybody, Miss Ashley here, and I'm going to show you how to make some really good meatballs. Sort of quick and sort of easy. So the first thing you're going to need to do is you're going to need to turn your oven to about 425 degrees. I already have mine set. It's been heating away. And then the next thing you're going to need to do is you're going to need to take yourself a baking pan, a nice flat one, and line it with parchment paper, which I've already done. And before you do anything else, you're going to need to make sure you wash your hands. So I've already washed my hands. I know they're clean, so I'm good to start cooking. So this here are my array of ingredients. I will link everything below, so don't worry about this. But to make meatballs, you kind of need to have some meat. So I've taken some ground beef, which I've put in this big bowl here. And these are my ingredients. So there's lots of different ways to make a meatball. Some people add eggs, some people don't, some people add breadcrumbs, some people don't. Like it's kind of really how you prefer your meatballs. There is no right, there is no wrong way. This is just how I make them. So if you know a different way that you're happy with, by all means stick to it. But this is just kind of how I make a meatball. So I'm gonna show you that way. So I have my ground beef here in my bowl, and next I am going to take a shallot. So I've already pre-chopped a shallot. You can use a regular yellow onion. I happen to like a shallot because it's not quite so big as an onion. It has lots of flavor, it's just not quite so thick. And I find it doesn't really take over. So I'm gonna put this in my meat right here, this side. Now comes the fun part with all of my little spices. So I like to start off with oregano. It's a classic. So I go for 1 teaspoon. 1 teaspoon of oregano. It smells really good. And plop that in there. And I like to add garlic powder. Some people like to prefer a clove of garlic you've already chopped up. But I find that garlic powder actually works better because you don't get that like little chunk of garlic in your meatball, and I find it doesn't get quite as bitter. So I use a powder. So that's my little secret for you, garlic powder. So I'm gonna put another one of those 1 teaspoons of garlic powder. Put that there. And another one of my spices that I like is a fennel seed. I think it adds to something kind of, what was that? So I'm going to put in a half a teaspoon of fennel seeds. Just over pour it, doesn't really matter. There we go. It's an approximation. It's approximately half a teaspoon. If you get more in there, it's okay. So that's done, and now I'm going to add some salt, and I'm going to put in, again, 1 teaspoon, and if you overpour, it's okay. There we go. And then I'm going to take my pepper, and I'm going to crank. I like some pepper in my meatballs, but again, you don't have to put as many cranks as I'm doing, or you can just feel free to omit anything that I'm putting in my meatball. So these are some of our spices here. And I also like to put in some freshly chopped flat leaf parsley. Again, this is my personal preference. You can use thyme, you can use curly parsley, you can use basil. You don't have to use any of it, but I am going to put in some of my chopped up flat leaf parsley. But before I do that, I am going to add, I have half a cup here of panko breadcrumbs. Let's put that in there. You can use Italian breadcrumbs. You don't have to use panko. You don't even have to use breadcrumbs at all, but this is what I'm going to do. And then, just for a little bit of kick, I'm gonna put in, oh goodness, a half a teaspoon of chili flakes. It adds a nice bit of flavor and heat to it, Not a lot, but just a little bit. That's a little bit of something, something, you know? Okay, so these are all of our dry ingredients now. I'm going to add the wet ingredients. I have Worcestershire sauce. Worcestershire sauce. Say that 3 times fast, I dare you. So this, I'm going to go with 2 tablespoons. 2 tablespoons, yeah. 1, 2 tablespoons. Okay. And now we are all done with this guy. We can put this guy away. Thank you for your service. So, you have an egg. I like to use an egg. It's a binder. You know, the breadcrumbs and the eggs, it kind of holds the shape of your meatball. But I'm going to use 1 egg. Crack it. There we go. Put that in. And I have my flat leaf parsley, but I am going to this, you have to use your hands for this, I find. You just gotta get in there and just make sure everything is mixed. You know, there's no real polite way about doing this. You just gotta get in there and get your hands dirty. Now you don't want to overwork your meatball. The more you overwork it, the more dense your meatball is going to be. So you just want to make sure everything is, incorporated, but you don't want to overwork this. Okay, so that's good. And now I'm going to take my flat leaf parsley. Oops. I'm going to just toss her in. And again, just a little bit. Alright, it smells good. It smells like all the flavors you want in a meatball. So, she looks like that. Okay. So, now it's time to take your little tray. Now, some people use an ice cream scoop. If you use an ice cream scoop, you can actually get a really good circle. I don't have that. I'm just going to go the old-fashioned way with my fingers. And you want about a tablespoon size meatball. So you just kind of pat it. Again, don't overwork this meatball. It doesn't have to be perfect. So like a little ball like that. So you just want to get these on the tray. And if you're finding that your meat is sticking to your hands, you can coat your hands in a bit of olive oil. That will help stop the meat from sticking. And it'll also kind of give you a little bit of that olive oil flavor, but it's just a nice little trick if you're finding that your meat is sticky. And also, if you're finding that your meat is too wet, well then you can add some more breadcrumbs. So you really kind of just see how it is when you start making your little shapes, your little circles. But you can add more breadcrumbs as you go. So I can get about 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to do 4 lines of 4. So obviously 4 lines of little meatballs. And then I will put these in the oven, and I have it set, like I said, to 425, and I'm going to leave it in the oven for about 16 to 20 minutes. You can just kind of insert your little toothpick, see if they are done, or if the inside reads about 160 degrees, if you have a little meat thermometer. But generally at 425 in the oven, 16 to 20 minutes. So it depends how cooked you want your meatballs. I leave them a little under because I like to simmer them in my tomato sauce, so they are going to definitely cook a bit more. But 16 to 20 minutes on average, that will do ya. So I'm going to finish making these. I'll put them in the oven and I will come back and show you what the finished meatballs look like. So you wait there. Okay guys, this is my little plate of meatballs that are finished. I added a little bit of my marinara sauce on top. I added a little bit of my Parmesan and a little piece of fresh basil. So these was super, super easy to do. It took like, what, 20 odd minutes. And it's you know, nutritious, it's healthy, it smells amazing, it tastes really good. And I hope that you enjoy making this meatball recipe. Anyway, guys, until next time, hope that you are taking care, hope that you're staying safe, and I hope that you like and subscribe to the Miss Ashley YouTube channel for more great videos. So until next time, bon appetit. Oh, it's just so good.